move on to Ms. Cora Gotemann, Head of Employment Promotion Project at GIZ. How are you? It's a pleasure to have you. We wanted to ask you, what is the role of technical education in transitioning to a green economy?
Thank you very much for having me on the panel, and thank you for the question. And I would also really like to thank my predecessor, Ms. Marvi, for her very nice presentation, because it really covers in detail many of the factors which are really important. So what is the role of technical education in transitioning to a green economy? So first of all, technical education is in principle a success factor, because it promotes economic development. Skills and competences are needed in the labor market, and this is what technical education provides. So one point is very important: the closer the private sector is involved in technical education, the better the education and the qualification of students will be, and the better the workforce is and will prepare for the future of the work. This applies to all forms of technical education, be it, let's say, normal technical secondary schools, or the dual system, or other forms of work-based learning. So this is, once again, private sector involvement is key, because this is where students will go later as workforce. So having said that, the same, in fact, applies to the green economy. The green economy is an economy, but of course with a, let's say, different color. It's low carbon, resource efficient, and socially inclusive. And with this, and we know it's absolutely important, because we all face now the effects of climate change. It's needed to really prevent further loss of biodiversity and ecosystems. So this is an ideal situation, which we have not reached there. That's why we always talk about transitioning to a green economy. And here, the changes in an economic context to which we all have to adapt. We have to see, these are technologies, these are laws or bylaws, regulations, skills and competences will change, and also consumer behavior, because it's most probably that consumers in the future will want to have more ecological products, or products which are more socially inclusive or less energy efficient. More energy efficient, of course. So in this case, technical education plays a very important role, because it can act as a facilitator to transitioning to the green economy. And how can it do this? First of all, to ensure that young people, that students are adequately qualified for this new changing world of work. And for example, important is to define occupational profiles in collaboration with the private sector, identify skills and competences needed in specific technical areas or specific green sectors, but also as cross-cutting competences for all jobs, in fact. Also, what Marvi already said, schools can become green learning environments, and that means that they can become energy efficient. We can talk about solar powered schools, or training in how water can be saved, for example, but also how waste can be separated. And that means that it's not only about the facilities, but also about the people who manage the schools, management, teachers, and students, of course. What I see is very interesting when we talk about the role in transitioning to a green economy technical education can play is that we know from this movement of Fridays of Future that it's something which is really in the interest of youth. And it's no wonder, because youth will be affected much more than we are I talk about my generation, well, I see things happening, but our children, our grandchildren, they will really face the change. So they have an interest and they show an interest. And I think this is something which is a chance and an opportunity for technical education and also for policymakers. Make young people now interested in technical education and in the green jobs or greener jobs. For example, pre-orientation programs at a very early stage where students and their parents are right from the beginning geared towards this kind of change. They can also become multipliers even in their homes with learning certain competences. Important is also to integrate cross-cuttingly environmental competences and skills in all curricula and train teaching staff and management accordingly so that they also collaboratively steer this into the new direction. Further important is to promote green occupation or greener occupations. And of course, here again, the private sector plays an important role because they set the benchmark here. And together with the public sector, this can really make a change. In principle, I think to act responsibly, and I would rather like to use responsibly in terms of, and not always say green, because we see also lots of greenwashing, but this is really important for every profession and every sector. And this competence to act accordingly or to act sustainably or responsible is in fact, in everyone's professional life, an integral part in the future. And having said that, I would say that technical education really can pave the way and support this movement.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Cora Gotemann, from Head of Employment Promotion Project at GIZ.